Hello athletes, I am Kevin from Isabella Fitness and this is the Mountain Climber. The Mountain Climber is an excellent exercise to train your core, your cardiovascular conditioning, and even a little bit of the upper body, but it's very commonly done incorrectly. There's two major flaws that I find people doing very often in the Mountain Climber. The first of which has to do with the position of the hand in relation to the shoulder. So in an ideal setup for the Mountain Climber, the hands will be directly located underneath the shoulder, and this puts quite a significant challenge on the abdominal area. The flaw that I see pretty often is the hands out in front of the shoulders. This happens often because it's a lot easier on the core. But if we were looking for something to be easy on the core, we wouldn't be exercising in the first place. So, anytime you're doing a mountain climber, always check to see the location of the hands, and if you find them drifting out in front of the body throughout your workout, continuously take inventory of that location and reset underneath the body. All right? It's super common to start with good intentions of your technique, but as you begin to fatigue, your body starts to trick you into an easier position without you even realizing it. An example of this looks like this. So I started off my mountain climb with perfect technique. My shoulders were directly above my hands. And as time went, my feet slowly started to trickle back further and further, and my hands then drifted in front of my body. This is a flaw that happens very frequently, and it's your responsibility as the athlete to identify it when it's happening and reset your position. Otherwise, you're leaving a great deal of benefit in your midsection out of the movement, and we don't want that. The second flaw that I find has to do with the location of the hips. This is also related to core strength and stability. When the hips are in line, there's a high demand placed on the ab muscles, and when the hips raise in the air, it gets a lot easier. Again, we fall into this problem the same way as the last one, where we subconsciously start in a proper position and slowly fatigue and shift into a butt up position and a butt kick with the heels. This is happening because it's natural to get tired in the middle of a workout, and your body has a way to adapt into an easier position. But once again, this will steal a lot of the benefit of the movement. So continually check in with yourself throughout your workout and make sure that your mountain climber is in an ideal optimal position so you're getting the most out of your time, all right? Now, once that movement is mastered, if you want to kind of mix it up, there's two other options to mix it up. The first of which is when you will take your opposite knee and drive it to the opposite elbow. So that looks like this. That version of the mountain climber is a lot of fun, and it adds a lot of abdominal work, especially in the oblique area. So it is more demanding, but it's fun to mix it on occasion when you get bored of the basic mountain climber. The other option is great for creating flexibility in the hips. In the option number 2, I'll have you set up like a normal mountain climber, but instead of driving your knees within the arms, we're gonna drive our foot all the way up to the outside of the hand. So it puts a big demand on the groin, hamstring, and the hip joint in general. So what that looks like is this. This movement is a lot slower. It's not quite as demanding on the core, but it feels really good for your hip flexibility when you're done with it. If any of these movements are too challenging, we have 2 modifications for you as well to make them easier. The first of which is simply slowing it down. Instead of being so dynamic and jumping, we can slow it down. Tap, return, tap, return, tap, return. This is a great option if you're struggling with the strength of the movement and you're not quite ready for the speed yet. It's also a great option if you have any joint issues and the dynamic of moving very quickly just isn't an option. There's one last option that's great if you're having any wrist issues or upper body strength or joint issues in general, and that would be doing the mountain climber from an elevated plank position. Elevating my elbows onto an ottoman or a bench or a couch allows my knees to still have room to drive underneath me, but doesn't demand as much from my upper body as doing it from the floor. So in that circumstance, it would look like this. You can mix mountain climbers in any number of ways and get very, very creative. Often I see people doing them for repetitions and doing 20 to 50 per round. I prefer to do them for time, so I would set a clock and do 20 to 30 seconds, if not more, as my endurance builds up. And I prefer the time because when I'm not focused on keeping track of the number of reps, I can really put all my attention into making sure that my positioning and technique is perfect and I can get the most out of the movement. So consider mixing it up. Sometimes do it for a number and sometimes do it for an amount of time, but always take inventory of your position and make sure that you're getting the most out of your time and your movements. I'm Kevin from Isabella Fitness. Thank you for your time. Good luck with the mountain climber.